was a bootleg. Then he comes right back with another bootleg.
All right, baby. Let's get to the Sunday games. Now we start off at Sunday, 3 o'clock, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and your boy Todd Bowles against the Detroit Lions in that fucking unbelievable atmosphere. Like I said, I can't wait to talk about the end of the game.
Todd Bowles is a good man. I just want to say he's a good guy.
You love him. You love Mr. Bowles.
Well, he's a good guy. I want to say that. I just don't like him as a head coach.
I know, and I'm with you. And we'll get
I'm not even a huge fan of him as D coordinator because he's a little too aggressive. But he's a much better D coordinator than he is as a head coach.
I would agree. He falls under that category of he's definitely a better coordinator. Now, we're going to get to his comments at the end of the game, and also kneecap biters comments at the end of the game as well. But this game was tight, man. It was tight all the way through. I'm going to ask you a question about Baker at the end of this thing. But what did you think about this game and how it went, and the fact that the 8-point victory for Detroit now gives them 2 fucking playoff games at home in a row that they win for the first time in 30 years they've been in the playoffs, and now they're going to an NFC Championship game before my Dallas Cowboys are going to an NFC Championship game. I can't believe it.
Well, I do want to say it's incredible that Laporta has been playing well.
Playing well.
Because he's got a fucked up knee. But I will say, I don't want to be like in the middle like a little bitch here, but I'm impressed with how Tampa Bay stuck in there. But I wasn't shocked because I was expecting the Lions to lion, if that makes sense. I'm kind of waiting for the Detroit Lions to revert back to the old Detroit Lions. And maybe that's just not going to happen. Maybe they're just for real. And I think they're a good team. I'm not saying they're a shit team, but I'm a big believer in like having that history, having that background.
Yeah.
Like the Jets will find ways to fuck things up. The Browns, the Lions.
Yeah.
Like I believe in like certain teams have other teams number for whatever reason. There's just like a pedigree there with good teams. There's a pedigree there with bad teams. There's a pedigree there with certain matchups. And I can't explain it. It just is what it is with the football gods. They just say poof, 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 Packers aren't going to
winning.
Packers aren't going to beat the Niners. There's just certain teams that just there's a certain
Cowboys aren't going to beat the Packers. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I was kind of expecting the Lions to choke, even though I did bet them to win. So I won that bet, by the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But I was impressed to see Tampa Bay not only fight, but fight the whole way because Detroit played a pretty well played game. They played pretty well. Yeah. And I love Bake. How come Bake gets so much shit, dude? Bro, Bake won he wins the first playoff game in how long for Cleveland? He wins the first game in Cleveland after like 2 seasons of like no wins or whatever it was. It's like they had 1 win in the beginning of the season, then they had no wins, then they had no win season. Then Baker comes in, wins. Bud Lights for everybody.
Yep, Bud Lights for everybody.
Bud Lights go crazy. This is before everyone's banning Bud Light.
Yep.
Now today would have been Miller Light for everybody or Coors Light for everybody. And then he wins a playoff. And then he wins a playoff game. Yeah, you're right.
Playoffs.
Then he wins a playoff game, and then he gets shipped out. And then everyone says he's dead. He plays well in L.A. Then he gets sent over with Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
And wins another playoff game.
And wins the job.
Tom Brady.
He won the job in the summer. They brought.
I know, and we're both big. Well, I don't know if you are anymore, but we were both big Kyle Trask fans.
We did, yeah.
And I honestly, I don't think he looked that bad in the preseason.
No, he just I think he apparently must not have it. But Baker's got the moxie. He's got the moxie.
Baker's got the juice.
He does, but
I hope he comes back.
He doesn't have the size, right? And I think that's what ultimately gets these guys in trouble.
The size matter?
Apparently not to me, but I'll tell you, and as we see at the bottom line here, it's as you'll see, Scotty G's biceps are still bigger than Rocco B's. But here's the thing, I want to ask you this question then right now before we get into the end of this game. Fuck it. Let's get to the end of the game first, and I'll ask you the question. Did you see what happened at the end of this game?
Which one? With the kick?
The Lions and the Buccaneers, right?
Oh, you mean not calling the timeout and then when he's kneeling? Yeah, no.
So okay, so you get the ball, right? Everybody knows you get a
Todd Bowles was congratulating everyone on the good season.
You don't. I mean, is this not?
We did our best. Good.
Coach, we still got a fucking timeout here.
Coach,
I don't want to.
Coach, it's only the third quarter.
Let's not delay the obvious.
That video was actually from the end of the third quarter. They had a whole another quarter to play. He didn't know.
Dan Campbell have his fun time here. We had a great time together in Dallas.
I think Todd Bowles been hanging out with Ron Rivera. He didn't fucking.
I know, but it was also a fuck up on Dan Campbell's part. So you're kneeling the ball down. Right?
It was Jared Goff's fault. I don't even think it was Dan Campbell. Jared Goff was like,
they just didn't take the fucking time. And
we got like 2 minutes left. We might as well kneel it. Fuck the time.
They're shooting in their fucking shorts, and it's third down. With he kneels the ball down with like 36 seconds left. Now it's fourth down, and the fucking Buccaneers have a timeout. And so now it's like, well, wait a second. If the Bucs call a timeout, Detroit now has to figure out either they're going to kick the field goal, whatever they're going to do. They probably would have kicked the field goal, try to go up 11. If they miss the fucking field goal, Tampa Bay's got like 25 seconds to get down the field and score a touchdown. I know it's crazy, but hello,
it just shows how good of a coach Todd Bowles is.
I agree, but also
he's very aware of what's going on.
Was shooting in his shorts too at the same time, not thinking, right? But so that was crazy, right? And I hope
he was getting excited, biting his own fucking OC's kneecaps and shit. I saw his OC limp to the locker room.
They had to get back to the locker room. They had a live lion that they were waiting to fucking give hugs to. But I'm telling you, I think if awesome, as Salah would have liked giving him kisses. But the fact that that hopefully the mainstream takes a little bit out on Bowles and even Campbell for the fact of this is pretty fucking egregious. Like, if you think about it, like this could be, you could talk collusion here. They're good friends, Campbell and Bowles. Was this like we're just happy for the guy, like let's just get the fuck out of here?
I think it was just
or is it pure incompetence?
Being an idiot. I think it's being an idiot. Yeah. I think it's being
an idiot. It's terrible. But
I think Bowles just expected them to do it the way it would have ran the clock out, and he was like, "All right, game's over," and he starts kind of saying goodbye to everybody, or like telling everyone, like, keep your head up. And he's at that point, he's not even looking at realizing that Jared Goff fucking kneeled like 10 seconds too early.
Crazy. I mean, crazy. But here's the big question. Okay, since you are the Baker fan, I loved him at Oklahoma. I think his pro career. He's
it's been a disappointment. I don't
know. I would say it's should he have been the number one pick? Probably not. But
if he's picked in the third round, he's had an exceptional career.
Whole nother story.
Being picked in first overall, big disappointment.
Yeah. So here's the question: is Baker this year's Geno? Geno right now, Geno Smith for the Seattle Seahawks is making the 18th highest salary as a quarterback.
Good for him.
In the fucking league right now, after the year that he had, right? The comeback player of the year last year, basically, Geno Smith. Baker's now, he went for a 1-year prove-it deal. He made like fucking $3,000 this year. And you're going to tell me now that he's got to get paid, right? Because of what he did, right? He took his team to a divisional playoff, won a playoff game, all that. You ready to give Baker a top 18 quarterback money, which is around $25 to $30 million a year? Are you doing it? I'm not. But go ahead.
What pick is Tampa Bay going to be, like 20 something?
They'll be 20. Yeah, somewhere between 24 and 30. 24 and 28.
You got to look at your options. I mean, if there's nothing out there, so. Let me say this. Listen, the Geno contract is misleading. You just read it, you say, 18. They have an out on Geno. They can get out at almost any time. So
he made the 18th most money quarterback-wise this year.
I know, but
You're gonna pay him. You're gonna pay him $30 million next year, even if it's a get out contract. You gonna do it? You're gonna keep him or go younger?
What else? What else you gonna do?
You got to go younger.
Where are you gonna go younger? You gonna get
you either got
the seventh best quarterback?
I'm just telling you right now. I kind of know.
I would pay Baker. I'm paying Baker.
Okay.
I'm paying Baker.
I wouldn't. Why?
I'm letting Evans walk, and I'm gonna build the rest of the team with Baker there, and then I'll let Baker fucking walk, or I'll move up to go get a top pick or a free agent quarterback, and we'll go from there.
So you're going to give him the same deal Gino got, like 3 years. You could probably get out of it whenever you want. But you got to give him top 18 money.
But first, let me clarify this. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking.
There's parameters here.
But first, I'm paying Baker if I can't get one of these. Like, okay, I'm paying Baker before signing Russ. I'm keeping Baker over Russ.
Okay.
Even though I think Russ would do phenomenal.
And Russ,
I'm not paying. Listen, if I'm Tampa, and this is just my opinion, I'm not paying Mike Evans. Not after what I've seen this year, and he's getting to that age. It's just not worth it. And he's gonna get big money, I think. So I'm letting Evans walk. I'm keeping Godwin. I'll probably invest in a young guy.
That kid Trey Palmer is a fucking lightning bolt.
I know. I agree. But they can go get somebody. They can go get one of these free agents or something.
Yeah, they need somebody.
But I'm not, like I said, not getting Russ. I would, however, pay a little more and go get Kirk Cousins. I would do that.
Ooh. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins there with Godwin, that defense in the draft. I would probably go get it. Look, if I'm Tampa, and this is just me, I get Cousins. I go get maybe one of these receivers, like a Calvin Ridley or somebody, like no one crazy. And then in the draft, I go maybe get one more wide receiver or tight end. And then I go all defense to reassure my defense because the offense line's pretty good there.
We'll talk
about Rashad White's a fucking stud too. He doesn't get talked about enough.
Stud.
So if you get a quarterback, you revamp that wide receiver room, and then you kind of build a future for the defense that gives you enough of like a window to where if Cousins ain't the guy in another year or two, or even if Baker's not the guy, you could do the same thing with Baker, but even if Baker's not the guy in a year or two, then you go get your quarterback and you got your whole team almost blossomed around him.
So you're telling me that you flip-flopped. Mm-hmm. You're telling me you'd rather go get Cousins, is what you're saying.
Well, I'd rather pay Baker than draft somebody because you're going to be picking too late. And I don't think it's worth it this year to move up because you're not a quarterback away.
Okay.
And I think if you can't get Cousins or a guy like that, I think Baker's one of my top 3 options. I think it's like Cousins. I can't even think what other quarterbacks are available right now or would be possibly available, but I think Cousins is probably going to be the hottest quarterback name that's a free agent.
Like you take Baker over Garoppolo.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
You take Baker over
he's my top 2 or 3 option, dude. Yeah. Over Trubisky, over Russ,
Gardner Minshew.
Yes,
like that.
yes, yes. Because you got to remember too, he's got that locker room.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I'm either paying him or Cousins.
You got to pay him, right? So you're gonna probably pay him, and then you have to figure out.
Yeah, you pay him 35 million. Get off him in 2 if you have to.
If Evans is gone, then you probably got to be in the market for either Ridley or T. Higgins, right? You got to bring in one of those dudes.
Yeah, and then you can go get a young guy,
right? He needs fucking somebody. But okay, I wouldn't pay him because I know what I'm going to get, and I think he's very similar to Garoppolo. I think he's very similar to a Gardner Minshew.
He's durable.
He's a guy that can win 9-10 fucking games, but he's going to crap out. And in the games that you lose, like in those 6 or 7 that you lose, he's not going to look good. And people forget, how he looked, in the first game against Philadelphia this year, with a brutal defense. The Eagles still had the same defense. So, he looked brutal in the first game against Detroit, So,
well, to be fair,
I don't think he's worth $30 million.
They do have a problem scoring touchdowns, to be fair. But I'm still his moxie and the fact of it's the same conversation I have with you and like Dak Prescott and stuff. It's like you only move off these guys is if you got a better option.
I'm taking Bo Nix.
And I don't think there's a whole lot of I don't even know if Bo Nix is going to be there.
Yeah, well,
I think people are going to be shooting in their shorts for fucking QBs this year.
Bro,
I think
Penix or Nix before I'd pay Baker.
I'm not saying anything yet, but when we go through our draft,
we will.
This could be the buzz. This could be the most quarterbacks taken in the first round.
We could have 6 or 7 in the first round. You're right.
This is one of those years.
I'm with you. But they're going to be drafted. They're probably 25th or 26th. Dallas is 24. They're probably, one of the first 2 picks in this next round here, 25 or 26. They could still get quarterback. Absolutely. And what sucks is they wasted a second rounder on Trask, right? So that sucks if they don't think.
And who knows? What if he turns out to be all right?
Maybe, and that could be, but I just don't think Baker's worth 30 to 35 because that would put him definitely top 18.
So you think he's a backup quarterback?
I don't know, but I see him as a bottom.
Well, he's getting paid though. He's getting paid 25 to 35.
I'm saying
that's the bottom of the market.
I see him as a 24th to 32nd quarterback, and he'd be getting paid like 18. Can't do it. Not doing it. Not doing it. Can't do it.